off.
Hi guys, Dr. Mel, and we are busy with mechanics. And in this section, we'll be looking at vertical projectiles, the movement of objects in the vertical direction. And we already did Newton's laws, but now we are going to look to the vertical movement and apply some of the equations. So, what is vertical motion? Throwing will be a vertical action. So you will be throwing a ball up and down and it'll move always towards Earth because Earth is the gravitational force that's moving downwards and it's attracting all the objects downwards. So this girl is throwing a ball and you know it will be going downwards. If this ball is going up, it will also go downwards. There's a few others that I can quickly show you. Here, Pele is knocking this ball up and as you know, the ball will be coming down again. Here the ball is being kicked upwards and it will come down again, as well as this ball. So in all cases where you are playing sports and you are using an object like a ball and it's going vertically up, the one thing we know is that the gravitational force of Earth will pull it down again. And we're going to work with this in this section. We can also apply this to rockets, and in space, it's also vertical uh, projectiles. Remember, it can move out of the atmosphere of Earth, and then it's different. But for now, if you've got this rocket that will be launched, it will go up, but gravity and the force of Earth will always play a role in this action. Here you've got this rocket being launched into space and gravity will pull it down. So if you want to launch something into space, the force that you exert upward has to be greater than the gravity that's pulling it downward. Otherwise, it will not go up in the air. Important, the way it goes up and it goes down will always be in your equation. So you have to calculate up and down differently. And there's a few things that I'll point out to you just now. What did I say in every section? Draw a diagram. See what they give you. Have a look at what they ask you and then compare if you've got an equation or some information to calculate that. In a final section in this vertical movement, we will start off with balls moving, but at the end, we will also have a look at hot air balloons. And we are going to throw out a few things, and they will ask you if the hot air balloon is going up, and let's say, for instance, your cell phone or a camera is falling out. How far are they apart? So there's more complex calculations in this section, but we are going to break it up in small chunks so that you really understand. So, finally, the force on a projectile is gravitation, and you'll learn a word in this section which we call free fall. If something is falling free, it's only gravitation that's pulling it down. So, in all cases, the gravitation to the earth will be at an acceleration of 9.8 meter per second. Now, knowing the gravitation of Earth being 9.8, can we calculate the gravitational force? Well, if we've got the acceleration, which is 9.8, we can actually work out what's the attraction of Earth on these objects. Now, let's just quickly define again. What does 9.8 meter per second square mean? It says in every second, the velocity will increase with 9.8. So it will start with 0. In the first second, it will have a velocity of 9.8. In the second second, it will have a velocity of 18.6. 19.6, sorry. So it's double 9.8. You have to be sure that you know what it means, but you can calculate that. You can use your calculator or you can just do it by means of substituting. If I've got 4 mass pieces, I've got a 5, a 10, a 25, and a 50 kilogram object. The question would be, what will the weight be, or what will the gravitational force be? I've got the earth at the bottom here, and earth will be attracting them. How can I work out the force? Well, the gravitational force in these cases will be mass times G, and you know G is 9.8. So in all these cases, you can calculate the force that's pulling it downward. So I've got 25 here, I've got 50 there, and I can multiply it with 9.8. And the values I will find will be, it will be 49 Newton, it will be 98 Newton, this one will be 245 Newton, and this one will be double the 25, which is 490 Newton. So remember, if I've got the mass, I can always calculate the force because it's accelerating with 9.8. So what's happening with projectiles? I've got this ball, it goes up into the air, and what happens at the top there? Well, it will firstly change direction. I know it's changing direction because it's coming down. So what do I know? I've got a vertical action which is happening here. Let's quickly revise what happened with horizontal. Now remember, horizontal was, I've got this block and it is moving that way. We did that in momentum, and we did that with Newton's second law. Then I had the initial velocity of the block. I had the final velocity of the block. I had the acceleration if it went faster or slower. And the distance was delta x because this was on my x-axis. What changes now is the following. I will again in the horizontal have the same as horizontal, the starting velocity. It will be in meter per second, and this will be the starting velocity. And it has to have a value, otherwise the ball won't go up. So let's say, for instance, it is 5 meter per second. It will then go up, up, up to that point there, and it'll go slower. So the final velocity when it goes up will be 0 meter per second. It will accelerate at 9.8 because it's only gravitation. But remember, it's slowing down. So in a sense, you could say this is minus. But I'll get to the signs just now because it's quite important that you know the signs will indicate the direction. And then the one change which is different is that we don't work in the X or the horizontal. We work now with Y because it's vertical projectiles. And remember the units. Right, let's have a look at it coming down. So this ball is coming down from that point there. Remember, it changed direction. What will the initial velocity be there? Now let's quickly have a look what we said here. Here we said the velocity here at the end will be 0. Nothing changed here, so this initial will be 0. And it will be accelerating downward with what? With 9.8 meter per second square. And this will be positive in terms of acceleration. So it will go faster and faster until it reaches whatever final velocity it reaches on the ground. And that will be determined by firstly the distance and then the time. And remember, we're working with vertical, so it will be delta y. Let's have a look at the projectile moving up and down. So I'm moving up. I've got a initial velocity. I know at that point there, I'll have a final velocity which is 0. This will be delta y. It will be in a certain time, and I've got the A as 9.8 meter per second square. Let's have a look now at the down movement. I've got the initial velocity now as 0. I've got delta y as well as delta t downward, and I know I'll have a final velocity this side. Now I will again have an acceleration of 9.8 meter per second square. And now, guys, you have to distinguish. We usually take the up movement as the positive. And why am I saying that? Because it's the first movement. Or you could say going down is then positive. Now, if I'm saying up is positive, then obviously down would be negative. If I'm saying the downward is positive, then the up would be negative. You make the choice and you just stick to your choice when you go to your equations. Now, when we did equations in the horizontal, we said the final velocity is equal to the initial plus the acceleration times the delta t. Nothing of that changed. Now it's just projectile, meaning it's up and down. You've got these equations on your information sheet. Just make sure that you know where to apply them. The second equation changes. In the horizontal, we had delta x here, but now we substitute that with delta y. Why? Because we are moving up and down. The third equation also had a delta x, which I substitute now with delta y. And both these pairs, with delta x as well as delta y, do appear on your information sheet. Just make sure that you use the correct values. Again, this is the average velocity. Shy away from this, guys. I never use that unless they've asked me the average. So I use the first three, and you'll see we'll apply them now. What will a question be like? A ball is projected vertically upward. So I see in my visualized picture, I've got a ball moving upward. 5 seconds later, so if you have a look on your watch, it takes 5 seconds for it to go up and to fall down to the same point. So it actually went up and down, and that whole section was 5 seconds. Now, quickly, just think about it. If it took 5 seconds up and down, what will the time up be? And even before reading the questions, I make these sort of assumptions. Well, if it's 5 seconds up and down, it would have been 2.5 seconds up and 2.5 seconds down. Now, you might ask me, why? How did you get the 2.5? Well, if it's 5 seconds up and down, I'm dividing it with 2. So I'm taking 2.5 seconds up, which is the half of this, and the other half is coming down. Do that immediately if you've got information like that. You'll see just now it makes your calculations much easier. They asked me to determine the height. Now I know if they ask me the height, they want me to calculate delta y. That the ball traveled before returning down. So they're asking me, what is the height from the start here to the top before it returns? And then secondly, they want me to calculate the initial velocity that it was projected in the air. So it was here, it was the initial velocity before it went up in the air. Now let's see if we can do this. If I have to calculate the height that the ball traveled, returning down, let's have a look. What's the information that they've given me? We know that we've got the delta t as, can you remember what we did just now? 2.5 seconds. I've got to calculate the delta y, but I have another quantity. I know the acceleration, and the acceleration now is 9.8 meter per second square. So let's see if we can do it. I'm going to take the one equation that says delta y is equal to vi delta t plus a half of the acceleration delta t squared. What do I know? The height that it traveled before returning down is that one down there. But I don't have the initial velocity. So let's see if we can work with the downward path. It started up there with 0. Am I correct? I know the time is 2.5 plus a half. It's accelerating downward, so it's 9.8. And I know that it took 2.5 square seconds. And if you now go and do the calculation, you should get an answer of 30.63 meters. Now, important, everybody, have a look what they asked. Determine the height that the ball traveled before returning. Well, it will be exactly the same as going downwards. So I determined it's coming down with 30.63 meters. It means it would have gone up with 30.63 meters. So by calculating the downward height, I used the fact that it stopped at the top. It came down in 2.5 seconds, and that's all I needed because I knew the acceleration to be 9.8. Let's see if we can calculate the initial velocity that the ball was projected in the air. Let's quickly just draw the diagram. I've got the up. I now need that velocity. I know it was 0 at the top, and I know the A is 9.8. I've got more information now. I know the delta Y is the 30.63 that I just calculated. So, can we calculate VI? There's a few ways that you can do it with. I can say VF squared is VI squared plus 2A delta Y. Let's have a look. It's going to stop at the top, so I know that's 0. It's going to come from the bottom, but that's what they asked of me. I know it's accelerating at 9.8 and it's going up 30.63 meters. And let's say the up is positive, therefore I'm using that as positive. I will then get an answer of VI as 24.5 meter per second. Just remember, you've got to get the root of that. You have to have the VI square and not VI and not the square. But I want to show you another way to calculate this. Let's take the easy equation. That's just that. I want to know what is the initial velocity. I know it's going to stop there at the top, and I know it's going up at 9.8, and it takes 2.5 seconds. And if you now calculate, you take the VI this side, it's minus, and you get a value there of 25.5 meter per second. And what we know now is that it's going slower, so I'm putting the 9.8 as a minus, and therefore the velocity upward would be 4.5 meter per second. If I said up is negative, down would be positive. Can you see I've got my value exactly the same as that one? So go and select the information, see which equation you want to use, and then just populate the equation. We're going to do quite a few calculations with vertical projections. The one thing I want you to know now is that a projectile motion only has gravity pulling it down. It is an object of which only gravity is present. Secondly, draw a force diagram. Now, a force diagram for the one we did just now would have been, I've got the object and the only force acting on it is the gravitational force. And then finally, identify the quantities. remember, when something is moving up and it's falling down, and it doesn't really matter, it can go up and down further. You could have stood on a certain building. The fact of the matter is, at the top, the velocity will be zero. So the final velocity for the up is zero, and the initial velocity for the down will be zero. If you can just remember that, you'll have most of your calculations perfect, and we are going to follow now with a few exceptions and complex problems. I hope you enjoy projectile movement. It's in every exam. Bye bye.